Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. A brand new tactic for you today, new tactic review. Today it's the turn of Carlos Corberan and his West Brom side. He's 4-2-3-1. Young, exciting Spanish manager. I think he came to West Brom in 2022, I believe. A kind of a student of Marcelo Bielsa under Leeds, under 21s. I think he had a spell at Olympiacos as well as Huddersfield, I think, before kind of come to West Brom. Took over them in a kind of a bit of a dire state. I think they were battling relegation at the time. I think kind of no wins in something like 11 games, leaking goals in left, right and centre. He took over. I think from then he went on some kind of 15-game unbeaten run, conceding only 8 goals, I believe, if I remember rightly. Took them like just outside the playoffs, I think, in that season. Fantastic job. Kind of obviously made his mark as one of the most, exciting young kind of managers in the game at the moment. Certainly seems to be kind of a part of this new breed of European managers coming through with a kind of unique gegenpress style, which we'll look at today. Not only that, it obviously allows a lot of fluidity as well. There's a lot of changes in this game. It's not just a 4-2-3-1 gegenpress. It's a little bit more thought out than that. So, like I say, we'll discuss that in a little bit more depth, or how I say it. Before we start, I will say I'm not obviously a West Brom fan, but I have seen quite a lot of them. Being a Sunderland supporter myself, we are in the same league in the Championship. Like I say, I see a lot of similarities at West Brom as I do with my team Sunderland. So I think it was quite, I think in my eyes again. So, but like I say, I'm not a fan. This is just my interpretation. I don't watch them week in, week out. I'm not a professional UEFA qualified coach either, so this is not going to be in-depth kind of analysis of where every player is going to be sitting at every given time. It's just my kind of general opinion, how I see them play. Like I say, I've got obviously limited access to highlights. I don't watch the full games. So it's just what I've seen, the kind of feeling that I get. Like I say, and I always say in these videos, please, if you are a West Brom fan or a football fan in general or a aspiring coach and you've got a little more in-depth knowledge, get in the comments, let me know what you think. Let me know if the positions are correct, if I've got the right mentality, if I'm close or I'm well wide of the mark, or anywhere in between. Get in the comments, get a discussion going. As long as it's civil and kind of constructive, I'm quite happy with that. Like I say, this is just my general opinion, and like I say, I'm not a fan. Like I say, these are our rivals, and we both started really well this season. So it'll be interesting to see how kind of Sunderland's new manager, Regis Lebris, comes up against Carlos Corberan. See how the kind of two minds kind of get on with each other head to head. So we'll jump right in. We'll get on with the tactic. I'll talk through the playing style, through each of the player roles. I'll try and show you how I want to make that work in game. Like I say, at the end of the day, this is a simulator. It's very hard to really emulate real life completely, but we'll show a few highlights as well, where from what I've seen of kind of goals scored by West Brom, how they attack, and then we'll go from there. So let's jump right into it. So here we go then. Carlos Corberan'S 4-2-3-1. Like I say, it's quite more of a dynamic formation than it can kind of probably represent in this kind of simulation, if you like, on Football Manager, but try to get close to how I see it. Like I say, there's a lot of roles do change depending on who he's playing at any given time. I think he obviously studies his opponents, quite very similar to kind of Marcelo Bielsa, very much a tactician. But I think the premise of the roles remain the same. Maybe a few little tweaks here and there. Certainly how he defends, maybe, against various teams, depending on how aggressive their press is, and things like that. Whether that's kind of I don't know, maybe it's like a 2 at the back, kind of 2 kind of wingers pushing higher up, and maybe 2 midfielders in front of the 2 defenders, or 1 midfielder and 1 kind of centre midfielder higher up, depending on, obviously, like I say, the aggressiveness of the opposition, and how they're kind of pressing against kind of West Brom themselves. But like I say, I've also gone for 2 tactics. You see here the 4-2-3-1, very much an aggressive gegenpress style, which, like I say, is kind of becoming kind of the norm. Certainly from these young European managers. I'll probably keep referencing Sunderland. It's my team, and I do believe we play in a very, very similar way. We also have a kind of a young manager from kind of Europe. So incorporating this 4-2-3-1 gegenpress, but also having a kind of, I think Sunderland's more 4-3-3, but we'll discuss that later, probably next week when I do a video on it. But also when we drop back and defend, we can kind of perform almost what looks like a flat 4-4-2, kind of defending kind of a mid-block. Now, that's not to say that happens all against the better teams. I think it's quite the opposite. I think you seem to gig and press against the teams that can play off from the back. Bit more kind of restrict that passing movement, close them down quickly, steal that ball while they're in possession, turn it over for a quick counter-attack. Whereas I think the flat 4-4-2 works well against teams who maybe can't play out the back very well. So you kind of invite them onto the kind of mid-block a little bit more, if you like. Give them a bit of space, a bit of confidence to come forward, then hit them with a press. And again, take the ball off, using pacey wingers to kind of get up there, create the space, and then get obviously kind of cross into the box and hopefully hit on the counter-attack. So I think it's kind of like, I'd say, I obviously think that's coming from Europe, these young European kind of managers coming through. But it seems to be a style that's been adopted kind of by both teams. And I have to say, at this stage of the season, it seems to be working very well. So I've gone for, we'll talk about the 4-2-3-1 first. I think it's safe to say that it incorporates a lot of wide play. If you look at the likes of kind of Grant and Fellows, again, I don't know whether these would be your first choice wingers. Football Manager certainly didn't think so. I know Jed Wallace was kind of chosen to occupy this side. Again, great cross of the ball from Millwall, I believe. Signed this season, I think. And along with kind of, like I said, Dean Garner seems to be kind of preferred on here. Both are a lot of pace. Both with kind of great crossing ability. But certainly, without a doubt, it creates kind of like a wide formation. So that's kind of what I've gone for. Attacking with fairly wide, pass into those spaces, focus play down the left and right, play out of defence. I think the retain that likes to have the ball. Passing there is slightly shorter. They're not kind of a ticky-tacker, but again, they're not a kind of a direct get it up there kind of team. And tempo is slightly higher. Get that ball from back to front, get up the wings, get up the pitch and create chances. Work ball in the box, I think it's fair to say as well. Now, I've got low crosses on here. That was purely just for the match engine, I'm quite honest with you. Really, in reality, it's probably mixed. I think I'll have Marjo up front there, kind of a big, strong kind of striker up front. I was saying, I think it was probably the QPR game. I think he scored 2 with his head. And again, I think we're still across into the box where he ended up with his third anyway. So maybe mixed crosses. Passing to space, fairly wide, slightly shorter, slightly higher tempo. And that's pretty much it, really. I think it's pretty straightforward. Passing to space, keep it simple. So that to me is the style I think sums up kind of West Brom. A lot of wide play, using the kind of wing backs as well, but get it to the wingers, get the crosses into the box. You do see, I think Wallace is probably more inclined to maybe drift in from what I've seen a lot more. Kind of, I think if we go back to kind of Grant, I think's been in the team these past few games. I've seen a lot of these kind of, even though he's kind of on this game, he's really right-footed on the left. Again, we'd probably expect him to cut in a lot more. From what I have seen, a lot of the goals, he loves to get this kind of byline, this area here, kind of take players on, cross it back in, with obviously kind of like some Marja, Swift, Moat up here as well, kind of Furlong hovering around this area as well at times. And also, I know this is normally Hegem, past few games. Again, hovering around here as well. Offering lots of support, plenty of players to aim for. Any kind of clearances are met by, again, West Brom players. So, great system. I think it was the Swansea game, I believe. First half was fantastic. And I think how West Brom went 3 or 4 goals up in that first half was kind of beyond me, because they were pressing really aggressively, very high up the pitch. Kind of Marja putting pressure on, kind of the 2 wingers, Swift as well. Yeah, absolute dominant press. Really kind of had Swansea in the back ropes. Didn't really capitalise fully. Obviously took a goal lead, but then second half Swansea come into it a little bit, and I think that's where this kind of fails. And I think this is where you tend to want to drop back into that 4-4-2, but kind of just goes that a little bit later. But starting from the back, like you see, I've got Palmer, sweeper-keeper on defend. The wing backs, I think it's a bit of mention now. I've gone for an inverted wing backs. That's not to say that they don't kind of do any form of overlaps or underlaps as well. But I think from what I've seen, it's a very, very few. For me, the likes of Furlong, I think it was a case when there was Furlong and Fellows. I can't remember which game it was I watched, but I'm not sure if it ended up in a goal actually either. But Fellows was kind of hovering around this area here, made a kind of run up the line. Furlong just behind him, whipped a lovely little ball around the opposition player. And like I say, Fellows picked it up, kind of cut inside, got across into the box. I can't remember if that resulted in a goal, but I just remember the style of play. So, but I don't, from what I've never seen Furlong really overlapping a great deal. I'm sure it does happen on the odd occasion, and I think when the opportunity arises, you say a fellow sat a little bit deeper for any particular reason, there's opportunity for him to kind of come round and get that cross in. I'm certain it happens. I haven't particularly seen it in any highlights I've watched, but yeah, from what I've seen, mainly I've seen Furlong hovering this round area a lot, very kind of aggressive on the edge of the box during kind of attacking phases of play for West Brom. So that's what I've gone for. Inverted wing back on attack, shoot less often, dribble more, cut inside with the ball, which football Manchester City doesn't like, take more risks, cross less often, get further forward, sit narrower and run from position. There you can see, I think there's a lot. Yeah, I think he's kind of one of their main outlets, certainly from the kind of that kind of right back position. So moving into the centre defenders, I don't think there's much to talk about them. I think they're fairly standard centre backs. I don't think the ball playing. I've not really seen them come up the ball too much and kind of look to kind of drive into this midfield. I think they're quite happy to kind of pick up the ball, whether it be from the goalkeeper, and just pass it to kind of the likes of your kind of left wing backs, your right Furlong, Hegem in this case, and let them kind of just carry the ball up, using kind of the DMs as a kind of a 1-2, and then work the ball up the pitch. So that's where I see it. Very simple, very straightforward, just on tackle harder. In this sense, like I say, no frills centre backs, get the job done, defend where needed. Again, then I've gone for this pretty much the same as Furlong. I probably could put him on maybe attack again, I think, because like I say, I have seen him, and again, I'm probably referring back to the QPR game here. I think must have been Grant at the time, was slightly kind of hovering around this area, picked up the ball. Hegem did actually come round him as an overlap, crossed the ball in, I think, for Marge's first goal. So let's put that back onto there. Yeah, so I know, again, pretty much the same as Furlong. I know the overlaps probably do happen on occasion, but again, I probably do tend to see him kind of feed Grant or offer support up in this area here and exactly outside the box. More as a kind of, I don't know, inverted kind of full-back, if you like, but a little bit more aggressive than someone who just sits back and defends. Can obviously get up there, get up the wing and support. And like I say, Grant's kind of always going to be a main source of attack on this side. Keep hitting the ball up, come to here and obviously looking for them crosses. But that's where I see the kind of the defensive side of things, how they're kind of set up. Because like I say, West Brom don't concede a great deal of goals, so I think they are fairly kind of set in the defensive ways. They know where they need to be. I don't think they get overly aggressive. And obviously, like I say, we move on to midfield. We've got Malumbi here. I've simply got him as a ball-winning midfielder, pretty much to kind of protect this back line for any kind of counter-attacks coming through, close players down, get that ball back, and then recycle. Very simple. For Malumbi, I've just got him on standard instructions: shoot less often, dribble less, take fewer risks, hold position, tackle harder. Should already have a high level of press on him anyway, being a ball-winning midfielder. But that's exactly fairly simple. Probably the least known information I've got on this kind of player for this team, so I'm not sure if I've got this right or not. He could be a little bit more technical there than that. I may be doing him an injustice, but I just don't know. So heading up to kind of Mowat. Now, I've got him sat slightly higher. I think he does sit slightly higher than kind of Malumbi, or kind of ahead of the back line. Can drop back and defend when needed, although very rarely I think he ever does that. I think he's more a player who likes to sit in this kind of that hole here, dictate play, spread the ball to the wings, offer support to the kind of wing backs coming up as well. Kind of looking for that ball, looking to spread it around. Certainly looking for kind of likes of Fellows and Grant, set them away on kind of runs up the kind of left and right side of the pitch. And he has them traits as well. He tries to kill the balls often, shoots from distance, comes deep to get the ball, and likes to switch ball to wider areas. So I think Football Manager agrees he's very much kind of dictator with this kind of thing. See, through balls to Swift, out wide, kind of the orchestrator, if you like. Also known as highlights as well for him to kind of up and around the box as well. I think again, I want to say maybe this was it the Stoke match. Maybe I think he scored when he linked up with Marger. Yeah, really well. Marger was drifting out here. I think kind of Mort was up here somewhere as well. A little 1-2 interaction. And he put the ball to the kind of keeper's left, right on side of the goal. Great little goal, well worked. But yeah, very much kind of up here as well, offering support in the attacking phase. So move through the middle. Got Swift there. I think again says everything. A very attacking minded midfielder. Like I say, with all these kind of the wide style of play, you want something as well as wants to get at the box, cause problems, up to score goals as well. Support Marja. Marja's dragging defenders out as an advanced forward, or a target style forward if you like, or pressing forward. Yeah, you want that someone else to come in as well. And the game, very similar, close down more, tackle harder for Swift, but he already has the trait to get forward whenever possible. Tries to kill the balls often, places shots, and dives into tackles. So I say very aggressive. All part of this kind of aggressive front line as well, whether that's attacking or pressing to win the ball back. So looking at the wings, you can see we've got Grant. I've gone for a winger. Like I say, I haven't seen too much of him. That's a lie. I'm pretty sure he probably does cut in with that right foot. But I have seen him so many times get to this byline, really causing problems. And just kind of looking to kind of cut the ball back to Marja, to Swift. It's kind of more to the edge of the box as well. Obviously, Fellows probably cutting in as well, looking for that kind of the ball in the final third as well. So that's the way I see it. And I certainly think if that kind of Diangana was fit, again, you'd probably see exactly kind of a similar style of play. So maybe he's covering for Diangana. I'm not sure. Like I say, you guys probably know a lot better than I do. On the other side, instructions, close down more, tackle harder, and mark specific position. Again, as part of the press, I want him to kind of close down on them kind of his opposition wingers. So he'd be on the left, he'd be obviously closing down the right defender. Fellows closing down the left. Like see, all part of that aggressive press. So that's pretty much it. Designed just to run forward, get crosses into the box, like say, cause problems, look for the kind of the players there, kind of Marja, Swift, more to the edge, Fellows cutting in as well. Very exactly the same as Fellows on the right. I think he does tend to kind of come in a little bit more, it's a little bit narrower. I think I mentioned kind of Grant before as well, doing something similar with Hegem acting like an overlap. Fellows pretty much the same, but again, I see it so many times here, looking to get that byline, looking to get crosses in. Certainly on the head of Marja. I think I refer to the QPR match. I think he might have set up 2 of the goals, I think, from that exact position, if I remember rightly. Getting into here, causing all sorts of problems, pulling defenders out of position, causing panic. And then you got someone like kind of Marja up front there who kind of just relishes that kind of that ball to him. Whether it's on his head or his feet. Yeah, he's certainly got the ability, and I think he's something like 5 goals this season as well. Yeah, fantastic start. So that's pretty much it. Again, same as kind of Grant, same instructions. Like I say, let me know what you think, kind of if I'm anywhere near. So Marja up front then, quite simply, I've got him as an advanced forward. I think it's kind of an injustice to say he's a kind of a striker that just sits here and waits for the ball. I think I do see a lot of movement from him, certainly across kind of this side here. Like I said before, he made a kind of lovely move where he's pulling defenders out of position, dropping into these channels. Kind of Mort, I think, was the guy kind of coming up here, linking up, playing 1-2 with him, the edge of the box, and then got a goal. So very much a kind of a really big, strong striker. Ex-Sunderland man as well, so kind of know him well. Gutted when he left. I thought he had massive potential. Played really well for us in kind of League One. Ended up with Bordeaux, which things didn't go right for him. And I think he's probably found the right club for him here in West Brom. Certainly the style that they play him, and it's just showing that he's kind of scoring goals. Doesn't really start this match engine, Football Manager, but certainly on starts every match so far, I think, for West Brom. But like I say, could have him as a pressing forward, complete forward, target forward, whatever style you want. I've got him as advanced forward. I think he has that ability, that kind of presence to kind of move, like I say, into the channels, just create havoc and score goals. So that's the kind of the team kind of set up, how I see it. Like I say, let me know what you think. So we spoke about in possession, how they kind of think they play wide. Mort is the kind of pivot, if you like, kind of distributor of the ball when needed. You've got Furlong and kind of Hegem in this case on the wings, his wing backs, kind of feeding your wingers, as well as obviously kind of with the help of kind of Mort, etc. Swift, attacking midfielder, Marja up front, and Fellows and Grant kind of supplying probably the majority of the crosses and the kind of build-up play, if you like, for the strikers. So in transition then, counter-press, very much the gegenpress style, obviously. Other than that, I've got distributed full-backs and centre-backs. I think that's probably a fair comment, to be honest. And take short kicks. I think they do like to play off from the back. Very comfortable with the ball. So, defensive shape then. So, I've gone for high press, much higher defensive line. I've gone full gegenpress, basically kind of trigger press much more often, prevent short goalkeeper distribution, get stuck in and step up more. Now, I think this is probably the one I'd probably argue with myself against. I think they're a little bit more safer than having a full-on kind of high defensive line. I think in reality it probably is more of a standard defensive line that does step up more when the player dictates, because I don't really see them getting caught out much defensively, like through balls at the minute. I could be wrong. The problem I see with West Brom is they do kind of get caught out a lot on the wings. I think, again, I'm going to refer to Swansea in the second half. Seem to get a lot of success down this kind of left-hand side for them at the time. I think Leeds as well had a little bit of success on the wings, but obviously very little. I think they just didn't create that much either. But every time I've seen them, they always seem to be kind of getting exposed down these flanks. So that may be down to the wing-backs getting caught out of position and having kind of defenders caught flat-footed. But majority of the time, they always seem to have a kind of a good, solid line in defence, and everyone seems to be there where they should. They do seem a little bit susceptible to kind of crosses coming in and free kicks, kind of like, say, set pieces, so maybe it could be a weakness. But all in all, for me, they seem fairly defensively solid. Everyone knows where they need to be at any given time. I don't think I've seen them completely caught out of position fully, but like I say, I haven't seen enough of it to make a proper judgment, to be quite honest. So that there is my 4-2-3-1. You can see, let me know what you think. So like I spoke about before, I think there is times when the 4-4-2 is adopted. Like I say, I'll keep you fair, and like I say, I will do a video on this next week on kind of Sunderland, but I do see a lot of similarities, and I think in terms of West Brom, whereas the 4-2-3-1 was very prevalent, the really aggressive gegenpress, maybe in the opening kind of first half against Swansea, I think looking at Stoke, they seem to adopt more of a 4-4-2. Seemed a little bit flatter, a little bit more mid-block. I don't mean flatter as in kind of like, say they were, that sound boring, but very kind of, a little bit more compact, a little bit more, kind of that midfield kind of closed down a little bit, a little bit more solid behind the ball. But now, like I say, I do mention this, and I think normally you'd think, okay, you do that against the better teams to kind of reduce the chances of getting kind of overrun or kind of through balls played around with kind of technical players. But I think, again, with Sunday, it seems to be a case of where this happens against teams where you expect them to sit back behind the ball a lot more themselves. Bear in mind, I think Stoke were at home, I think, so West Brom were away. So, and I think what it allows us to do is the kind of opposition and maybe get a bit of confidence, come forward a bit, open up. Certainly teams that sit behind the ball, maybe I'm not technically gifted, maybe not a passing team, prefer kind of teams to come onto them more aggressively so they can maybe ping a ball to the kind of their wide men with a bit of pace, break that press, kind of get behind teams that really, attack aggressively. And I think, thinking about Sunderland again, I think we got turned over by Stoke last season exactly in that same manner. We went in very aggressive, and they just counter-attacked absolutely superbly and kind of ran riot. I think it was a time when our old manager came back and kind of haunted us. So, so I think that's kind of the mentality behind it. I think that kind of 4-2-3-1 aggressive press works really well against teams who can really play with the ball, almost kind of against aggressive teams. So you're fighting aggression with aggression. Like say, I think when you're kind of closing down quickly, denying good teams space to pass the ball, you stop their rhythm, you stop them playing out from the back. But against kind of teams, I don't no disrespect to Stoke, but that maybe aren't like that. They prefer maybe, I don't want to say a long ball, but they prefer to play more direct. They're quite happy to absorb the kind of a really aggressive gegenpress and then just launch kind of defence splitting counter-attacks and really punish teams. So this formation 4-4-2, I think, counteracts that, because obviously the home team, they have to come out a little bit more. They can't sit behind the ball. They can't wait for that aggression where everyone's kind of rushing up. And I think what that creates is a kind of, like you say, everyone comes forward, and then around about the mid-block, like you kind of Marja, Swift can then start picking up players, kind of Grant and Fellows will then maybe kind of look at attack the kind of the wingers or the full-backs as well. Maybe looking to kind of get that ball and then start the press kind of midway in the kind of the pitch. And I think when that happens again, but that's kind of Moat closing down Blumby as well, getting involved. Quick turnovers. What you'll see is quickly distributed to the wings, and then all of a sudden they're launching counter-attacks of their own. So at that end, I've kept everything pretty much the same. With scores going to be still fairly wide. Passing to space when that ball's won, get it to the wings, let the wings run onto it. Counter-attacks kind of in motion. Focus play left and right, exactly the same. Play out defence, exactly the same, slightly shorter. Tempo, slightly higher again. And work ball into the box. Nothing much really changes. I think it's just the kind of starting positions of the players. Yeah, and this kind of works as well when you can't always wear gegenpress for 90 minutes, regardless of what Football Manager says. There is times you can have to drop into that kind of maybe 4-4-2, let players rest, be more compact, let the other team come onto you, like say pick up the ball, and hopefully if it works you can just kind of like say play it around, like say let teams catch a breath, control the match, see a match out. So there's a lot of advantages rather than just constant gegenpress for 90 minutes, which is nigh on impossible, certainly over a 42-game season in the Championship. Yeah, you need a little bit of a plan B. And I think that's something that's I think it's come over from kind of Europe, these young European managers. Certainly you see kind of a lot more of it now. Again, exactly the same. So nothing much changes again here. Out of possession, again, slightly different. We've gone for a mid-block and a standard defensive line. I think as well, having this kind of standard defensive line, and that's why I probably would favour it on the gegenpress as well. It's certainly in this formation, you see if you do kind of, team comes into this kind of half, you kind of press them. If they do try and play that defence split and pass, your defensive line's there to pick up them. You can see they can't really play through with kind of direct balls to the wingers. Or if any balls that are played through, defence comfortably picks them up, recycles possession. So that's pretty much the tactics then. You see, let me know what you think in the comments. What I'll do is we'll quickly show you, how this performed in game, show a few highlights, and show you how I kind of got on in the match engine. I am a little bit conscious of time in this episode, so I will kind of show you a couple of things on the pass map. You can see there how we kind of adopting that wide style of play. I think that fits in with the kind of West Brom mentality. Lots of passing, as we'll see here as well. Lots of passes, accurate passing as well. Sat in there just nicely. Exactly what we want. I think that's West Brom, very kind of not wasteful with the ball. When they get it, they're very kind of prominent, very direct almost. Know exactly what they're doing with it. Another pitch tilt, final third dominance. Again, fewer passes against in the final third. Lots of passes for in the final third. I think that's pretty much sums them up. I think they should be scoring more goals than they are. I think looking at Leeds as well, they had a good few chances as well. But looking at kind of QPR, probably perfection. And just another one I've kind of gone for as well, showing the pressing intensity again. Low number of opposition passes per defensive action and high defensive line position. So looking really good there as well. Exactly, I think it sums up West Brom perfectly. Like I say, I didn't want to go too much into detail. I think I probably overran. I know I've probably shown a couple of tactics there. Hopefully kind of somewhere near to West Brom player like. That's just my opinion. Like I say, please get involved. Let me know what you think. I'll quickly show you hopefully a couple of highlights just to kind of finish the episode off. But I will say, if you're enjoying the content, these have been really well received. Like you say, I'm not too in depth. I'm not a European coach. I'm going to be a kind of a UFC license or anything like that. But just my opinion, I watch these very short notice, like within a week, get a kind of feel of like how the managers play, how the team plays, put these together. But like I say, so far, really, really well received. But like I say, make it a bit of a community of it. Get down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Like I say, I'm open to kind of good old-fashioned criticism and kind of people putting the point of view across. But like I say, please as well, drop a like, subscribe as well to the channel. It's growing day by day, I'm over 100 subscribers. But like I say, I'll leave you with a couple of highlights. That's all from me. Bye from now.